Hello everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to be looking at a dash attack build for Jhin. This build is very easy to play, deals high damage, and doesn't require making use of any timing or blocking mechanics. So it should be very easy for anyone to pick up and play as soon as you've got the right tactics for it. And while it is very easy to play, it also deals high enough damage to clear any difficulty settings of your runs. First off, let's take a look at tactics. You definitely want to try to start with these four, as Jhin's early game damage will be pretty awful without them. It's not as much of an issue on lower entropy runs, but the higher entropy you start going, the more important it is to have good starting legacy characters. You can get these onto legacy characters pretty easily by playing a normal difficulty run on the lowest settings, and then only pick up tactics you want to pass on to those characters at the end of the run. Any other tactic you see, you should just sell it back. It's very easy to clear the run on the easiest settings, and doing things this way pretty much guarantees that you get what you need on your legacy tactic selections at the end of the run. Because if you only have 3 choices to pick from your entire legacy tactics, you're always going to get those 3 at the end. Next up, let's take a look at the potentials. For potentials, we'll be taking Jhin's dash upgrades, since they have perfect synergy with the tactics we're taking. The dash upgrades are absolutely required to make things work, and then the universal enhancements are going to make things easier for the dash attacks, but they're not required. Once you have the dash attacks, you can kind of pivot the build in any kind of direction you want and add in any other potentials, and things will work out for you. Once you pick up your Icicle Dash, the build becomes very simple to play. Since it's a dash, it'll apply the dash burn, and then the damage of the Icicle hit will apply the exploding fire spirits. So really all you have to do is spam your dash button all over the screen, and it'll automatically be applying the very high DPS of exploding fire spirits for you. Make sure you get Icicle Dash and Triple Dash as soon as possible, and then you can start aiming for the rest of my potentials or use any of your own. If you're limiting potential selection as an entropy setting, or you don't have a lot of rerolls to work with, the build will also work fine with just regular dash attacks, but the Icicle ones are much better overall. Freeze from Universal Enhancement 2 allows you to keep control over the enemies pretty easily, since anything you dash into will instantly become frozen. But it's not a requirement. At that point, you can change the potentials to anything else that you want to use. In terms of tactics, you just need the main 4 fire tactics that I mentioned. After that, I recommend Frostburst and summon Ice Spikes for some extra DPS, especially on boss fights, but any other options will work as well. Boss fights are going to be relatively easy for you as well with this build, since your mobility has now become your damage output at the same time. You can play a hit-and-run playstyle by dashing through the bosses and then retreating with the extra dashes of Triple Dash, or you can play an aggressive style of comboing dash into attack multiple times in a row. It's almost like having the air combo resets, but you don't even need them. If you have Triple Dash with Ice Dash, you can do dash into dash attack. The Icicle Dash has a special version of the dash attack, which will chain 3 times in a row. Depending on your entropy settings, luck, and playstyle, you may be able to add in more potentials by the end of the run. There's a lot of factors that determine how many potentials you will get in a single run, so don't worry about it if you can't reach as many as I do in this video. Just having the dash attacks alone and the tactics are enough to clear any run. If you can add in more, I recommend Fubiki and Sekajin, as they combo well with the dashes and add in a quick source of DPS in between them. Another great option is Yukikaze. Susanoo is a tough fight for Jin, and Yukikaze will be extremely useful if you can use it properly. Speaking of Susanoo, he's the main weakness of Jin. No matter what the build, Jin's damage just never seems to scale up to Susanoo's massive HP pool, especially as you start increasing the entropy settings. You need to play the fight patiently, relying on hit-and-run tactics using your dashes. Also, try to activate Jin's passive as often as possible, as it will allow you to get a lot of free damage in. You have invincibility frames during the entire duration of it, so you can get damage in without worrying about dying. Just make sure you either learn the duration or play very safely around the end of it, so you don't suddenly take damage as soon as you come out of it. The dash attacks alone are enough to take down Susanoo, but if you're able to pick up more potentials, they can help out in a lot of different ways. Yukikaze is great for defense while dealing a bit of damage. That's the counter attack. Fubiki and Sekajin are both great attacking options. That's the down plus attack and up plus attack options. And then base skill and ice arrows are also some great options if you want a long-ranged attacking option. That will be it for this video, so to sum everything up real quick at the end, this build is designed as a synergy between the exploding Fire Spirit's red effect and Jin's dash attack potentials. You can try these potentials without those tactics. There may be other tactics combinations that work well with it, but this is how I run the build, and how I've had the most success with it, even up to 90 plus entropy settings. It's a build that's definitely very strong, but the only real downside of it is that you really need to have the 4 starting tactics on your legacy characters. Luckily, with the method that I mentioned, it's pretty easy to do this. All you have to do is go into a normal run with the easiest difficulty settings, and then sell any tactic you don't want to pass on. You can get mostly any tactics guaranteed this way, as long as you never pick up more than 5 tactics in the run. There's not a whole lot of red effects that take more than 5 tactics, but there are a couple of them. So anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.